Hello and welcome back to the channel. It's time to go racing once again at Mallory Park for the second race of the weekend. This time we get to qualify, so let's see if any of that pace is left over from the first race and we can transfer that into qualifying and hopefully get at the sharp end of the field and head into race 2 as best set as we possibly can to find that first win of the season. I'm looking forward to this one. Car's running well, I'm running well. Let's get straight into it. So, qualifying 2, here we go. This is our fastest lap, or it will be in a second when we get out of the hairpin. Set on lap 2 of qualifying, so we head down the back straight. There's a car in the distance, that's the SL racing car of George Broadhurst, and we're ready to set the car up for a fast lap as we let it drift out, down the front straight, and cross the line to start the timer. And we head down towards turn 1, which is Gerard's. Absolutely flat out. Throw it in. Trust the car. If it wants to wiggle a little bit, if it wants to drift out, just let it drift out and it'll come back to you on the second phase of the corner. And you can see us just pull it back into that inside. I'm not actually having to pull the car in. It's just naturally pulling itself in, which is fantastic. You want to keep just one angle on the steering wheel, or as close to just one angle of the steering wheel as you can through that first corner to get your speed down the back straight. As we head into the S's, up the hill, it's a lift, get back on the power as close to that inside curb as you can without touching it, then let it drift out, clip that outside curb on the exit and head up the hill. Now we're getting into toe territory now with George just ahead of us, so a little bit of a distant toe up the hill as we turn it in for the hairpin. A little bit close to the apex for my liking. It's definitely quicker to stay wider of the apex as you head through there, a bit like George was. He was just a little bit wider than we were, but now we've got a beautiful toe down the back straight. And George is probably cursing himself for letting me do this, but I pull up to the back of him, a little bit of a side draft, and across the line for our qualifying lap, which put us on the front row of the grid, not quite pole, but P2 on the front row of the grid. So right next to Nick Crispin, and that's going to set us up really, really well for race day. So without further ado, let's get into the race and see what happens. So here we go, it's time for race 2 as I sit in Parc Fermé. Very, very nervous. I think I've been to the toilet quite a few times before this race. I don't know why, we've done it so many times, but it's what makes us love the sport so much. So just getting my mirrors changed the last minute, because this passenger side mirror keeps moving every single time I go out in the car for some reason. It's fine for the whole of the session that I use it for, and then somehow when I get in the car next, it's moved place. But Dad on hand to help me out with that, and we're ready to go. So let's jump straight to the warm-up lap and onto the grid and see if we can get our first win or first podium of the season, as the car is absolutely rapid at the moment. The only reason we didn't win the last race is because we weren't quite good enough at driving. So too many mistakes. This time, no mistakes. Going to be patient, going to be intelligent, and we're going to just crack on with it. So we line up behind or next to Nick Crispin for the start. We've got Bully, we've got Ethan Sparrow behind us. We've got who else have we got? George Broadhurst, I think. Yeah, it's a competitive front end. I think Harold Wright as well. Very close to the front end. I think he was 5th or 6th on the grid, so he's going to be there and showing a lot of pace this season as well. So it's not going to be easy. We've just got to get one of our diamond starts, a diamond start like we did in the last race, which are few and far between for me. But hopefully we can get off the line nice and quickly this time. So we sit, we wait, and hopefully it all goes to plan. Up we go, up, and it's off, and it's a good initial pull. And we've missed second gear, and we're back to our usual selves. with a terrible start as Bully and Ethan pass us straight off the line. Nick Crispin gets no need to defend for him at all as we finally get in the right gear. Up into fourth gear, I believe that was, as we now follow Bully and Ethan, and the car feels very, very quick right now. We got a nice pull. Same thing it was doing on the first lap of the last race. It feels really, really quick as we come up behind Ethan Sparrow, give him a push to get past Bully. Now we've got the inside line on Bully. We've got to be selfish about our race this time, get ourselves in the right place and don't mess around as we head up the line. Third place is a decent place to be. It's not a problem at all. Just lost one place on the first lap. But can we do the same thing that we did last time and go around the outside? We choose the outside, hit the brakes, but Ethan moves across and we're already on the brakes too late, and we tap Ethan and we both go wide, and up the inside goes Andrew Bull, and up my inside is Howard Wright. And I have to apologise to Ethan because I broke super late. I knew I was going to brake super late. I just didn't expect Ethan to come in out to the outside from the inside, but you know, he's very welcome to do that. I just should have been more on it. So unfortunately, it's a tap on Ethan, and we've lost a little bit too much in the toe there as we try and catch back up to these guys. But Nick Crispin has managed to get away there. I feel like I've sort of upset the apple cart a little bit there, being too aggressive, and now Nick Crispin has pulled away somewhat. But we press on for lap 2 and we sit behind the guys, and for some reason I'm not catching in the toe at this point, and I know that it looks like they're quite far away, but I was definitely close enough to be taking a toe from them, so I should have been able to catch up as we head through the S's, where I think I was naturally a little bit quicker anyway, so we closed up just a tiny bit. But the toe doesn't seem to be doing anything for us at the moment as we head into the hairpin for the second time. Bully's caught up with Nick. Ethan's sticking on the back of Bully, and I managed to get that gap down as we head into the hairpin and exit down onto the straight again. But they're starting to pull away once again down the back straight, and this isn't normal. This is just, I don't know if I've damaged the fan by hitting Ethan and it's started to overheat, or something's gone wrong, but it just wasn't pulling out of the hairpin after I tapped Ethan. It just doesn't seem to be doing what it should be, and at the moment it's sounding a little bit flat. So I'm just watching the guys ahead drive away, and I'm just like, whoa, what's going on here? Is that me? You can see me looking down. I'm checking the speed, because the only thing I've really got to gauge on other than the rev counter is the speed. So I was, at this point, checking my VMAX basically at the end of this straight as I turn into the S's, just to see what I was at. So in the races, or the last race in qualifying, I was doing about 80 to 82, depending on who I was following. If I was following Nick Crispin, I could get about 82 at like max speed going into that S's. On my own, 78 to 80, depending on how well I've set myself up the lap before. And I looked down and I saw 79, and I was like, okay, well, it must just be me driving a little bit slowly. So they're driving away from me, but I'm managing to hold the gap. They're still within touching distance. I can still see them. Maybe if I can stay here till the end of the race, they might start fighting and I can possibly get involved there. But at the moment, it's not looking good as I look down at my speedo and I see 77 miles an hour, which is not particularly good at all. My only saving grace is that I can just go flat out through the S's, which gave me a little bit of time back on the guys ahead, and then I can just chuck it into the hairpin as deep as I possibly can and try and close in what I've lost, which was working for a few laps. As you can see, back close to them, and I should be picking up a toe again, but it just wasn't happening. It just wasn't pulling, and at this point I knew something was wrong. So I resigned to just rotating, you know, just circulate around the track, get the laps in, get to the end of the race, get the points, and we'll see what happens. It's not ideal because we really needed to start putting some proper points on the table at this point. We really needed some podiums, a win, get ourselves back into that championship fight, because, you know, anything can happen. Another driver can have a DNF or a crash, or two of them could go off, or, you know, an engine failure. Anything could bring me back into the championship. It happened last year. Bully was strong last year, and he had one DNF at Pembrey, which brought everyone else back into the championship. So I'm just sort of hoping something, if I get to the end, we can look at things again for Silverstone and figure out what's going wrong. But at the moment, we know that something is off with the car, and it's not great. I'm hoping it's just jetting, but you can hear it just quite flat, even as we head up the hill, just quite flat, not really revving at all. So at this point, it's just about quick enough to sit in fourth and probably won't get caught by the guys behind, but it is worrying. I'm starting to get a little buzz, a little, almost like a sound of pinking, but not quite the sound of pink, just a zing, a weird noise. And I'm looking down now, I'm going, what's going on here? What's going on here? I don't know why looking at the floor does anything, because it doesn't, but I'm looking. Now I checked my speed at the end here, and we were down to 76 miles an hour, which means it's degrading. Which means that which means that the engine is degrading now, so it's getting slower and slower. And at this point I go, okay, I'm going to stop trying to chase these guys. We're just going to circulate. We're going to change gear early, and we're just going to circulate around the track. You see me waving my hand because that's Oscar and Luca, I think, telling me to go, and I'm just like, I can't do anything. I don't know what you want from me. I can't go any faster. I'm not doing this for fun. But unfortunately, things only seem to worsen as we progress through the race, and it's and you can hear me shouting in my helmet now because most people I think would stop because there's a weird noise and the engine isn't powering properly, but I was just like, I need to finish this race. I need the points because I really want to win the championship this year, and I need something. And as we're going up the hill, it's not even accelerating now. It's just dropping like a fly. Just got to finish. I can see the guys behind me. I've got the Gadget car and Howard Wright in his Tech Rouge car, the Experetti car. They're not really closing in on me too much. They're definitely getting closer, but we've built a gap so much already that it wasn't particularly bad. I think they're about the same distance away from me as I am to the guys ahead now. There's nothing suckier than a car that is just getting slower and slower. It just drains the energy out of you, and you just end up with no. Look at me with my arm on head in my hand, leaning up against the wheel. Oh dear, it's all falling apart, but we've got to keep plodding on. And you might be able to hear that in the background, just a little bit more shrill. You can hear that sort of zinging. And I think I've got the two. Yeah, I got the two passing me now because I am flat out. I did change early, but I am still flat out. They shouldn't have called me that quickly, but they have. And now you can just hear the engine sounds. It sounds a bit like a blender now. I know they don't sound great in the first place, but it's very blendery. You can hear it getting louder and louder. And unfortunately, I decide it's time to stop. And I cut the power off and I turn in to a little spot I know because I ran out of fuel earlier. And that, unfortunately, guys, was race 2. Absolutely devastating. I had no words, as you can see. It was quite emotional because obviously we'd had a difficult Snetterton and we'd turned back up to Mallory, and I was like, right, we're back and I can do this and it's all good and let's just go for it. It's just painful. And we've seen this moment with Andrew Bull as well at Pembrey last year. It's a difficult situation to handle, and a lot of people do it differently. I had a scream to myself and a bit of a moment of silence, and just and you get sort of disappointment, and then you get emotional, and then you just get angry, and it's unfortunately that was all she wrote, and that was Mallory race 2. Until next time, thanks for watching.
Yeah, broke down in car and very much Thank you, post 5.
Shit happens, mate. We move on, go again, try again.
Yeah, get loaded up.